Welcome to 100 Gems Podcast, home of the champs, baby. And today, my co-host Tasha, she done brought in some heavy hitters, and we're going to be talking about what it's like to re-enter into the community after you done a significant amount of time, and it's different. So what I'm going to do right away, because I want to get these fellas in, we got Mr. Ed Hennis, we got his partner over there. Listen, I got a vendetta against him already. The man, we on. You dig? That's on the chest, y'all, so you don't get it twisted. But yeah, say, Tasha, come on, bring him in, sweetie.
Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Yes, it's about to go down. I mean, today is one of those days, and I was on time today.
Yes, you was.
So
I couldn't.
I came early.
I'm like, whoa, that's Tasha.
You see how your people do you. I love our host. I love our host, Rob. It's my big brother, y'all. But we got some brothers in here, y'all. We got Mr. Ed Hennings, Mr. Comeback Coach himself, one of a really good friend of mine. And partner on this reentry work. We got my brother back here, Tron Prosper. Listen, we got some brothers that's going to talk about, what does successful reentry look like. I know we're leading up to the comeback conference. Freedom is great. Freedom Friday, the whole Freedom MKE weekend. And so I definitely felt it was important to get, some of these brothers to start talking about that. Brad's supposed to be here. Y'all know he always late. He probably on buff from somewhere. But we're going to get right into it. So without further ado, Mr. Ed Hennis, good evening, King. Slide up to the seat.
I'm here.
Look. Hey, he acting funny, y'all. He want to sit all back and stuff.
No, I just want to position myself with the mic.
I think it was that relationship stuff.
Yeah, that'll make you back up.
Right, that part. So we're going to just get right into it. Mr. Hennings, how you doing, brother?
I'm good. It's always an honor to be here, talking about what we talk about, what we do. So let's get it.
Hey, and for those that don't know and don't follow this brother on social media, you tripping, because when we talk about what successful reentry looks like, he is one of the poster children for that. I seen this brother do some amazing things. I had the pleasure of partnering with him on some dynamic events. We're actually coming up on some more. And so I just want him to start, give us talk a little bit about himself. We'll let him tell you who he is and what he do now, and then we'll dig right in. Then we're going to my brother back there with his phone. You think he ain't coming to the table, but he is. This brother got some knowledge. He going to pull up.
Yeah. Hey, before we, one of the things that I noticed, seriously, you coming home, you was clean.
Listen.
It's like you thought that up while you was in there. Said, okay, this how I'm gonna kill him right here. Yeah, you know what I mean? And then you launched your little business off of that too, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over.
We need you to talk, brother.
I just want to say you was clean though.
Yeah, everything was definitely intentional. It wasn't none of this stuff people think like, oh man, he must have hit a lick somewhere. Somebody must have put him in, or he got lucky or something like that. Nah, man, I did 20 years. Doing that 20 years, I definitely made sure that my thoughts, my energies, and everything was focused on bringing this to fruition, what you see today. And it wasn't luck. It wasn't by chance. It was by hard work, determination, and it started from the day I walked in the door.
I got a question for you, man. Did you write it down?
Yes, man.
You know what I mean? Did you set those goals, what I want to do 3 years out?
Yeah.
2 years out. You know what I mean?
Most definitely, man. I wrote down so many things that I got so many papers at home now in the box. I was writing down goals for the next week.
Come on with
I was writing down goals for my 5th year in.
Yes, sir.
Where I wanted to be. Where I wanted to be my 10th year.
Yes, sir.
And that's when I started seeing parole. Then after that, it was all about what I wanted my life to look like a year after I'm out, 5 years after I'm out, 10 years after I'm out. So when I look at those same papers now, and I've been home 7 years, I just wanted to have a barbershop after year 5.
Come on.
But I had a barbershop after year 1. I had a trucking business after year 2.
Yeah.
I bought a home at 2.5. You know what I'm saying? So I had realistic goals set in place, but it came a lot quicker than what I put on that paper.
You know, I got to say that when we do that, when we lay it out, when we lay it out, it actually becomes what we laid out. I
No
did
doubt.
something similar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And accomplished it way sooner. You understand? But one of the things that go with it too, I must say, man, you know, when I went in, I was a go-getter.
That's right.
You know what
That's
I'm
right.
saying?
That's right.
And that didn't do nothing but set it up. So I couldn't wait to come out and go get it. You know, even though it took me a couple tries.
Yeah.
At the same time, man, because we have those kind of characteristics, those kind of traits. You know what I mean? And we were just talking earlier too, Ed, man. We were saying that some of our young folks right now, man, it's almost as if it passed them up or something, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
we had a trade up. I'm gonna get up every morning.
That's right.
And go do something.
That's right.
You know what I mean? I didn't
That's
necessarily know exactly what I was gonna do, but I'm finna get up every morning and I'm going to do something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Something productive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Somewhere I'm gonna get some money.
That's right. Every day.
Yeah, every day.
Every day.
Yeah, and that was a lifestyle. I also think too. How did you deal with some of that in the penitentiary? You know what I'm saying? Getting up every day, because you know how I go, man.
Yeah.
We have some of those same things that we have to do, man. You know, we got breakfast and all that old stuff, man. And we be having some time to ourselves, so we have to get up. And some folks, man, look at it like it's boring, dull, or ain't nothing to do. But it's a game to do.
No doubt.
So
No doubt.
I'm just wondering, how did you handle that, man? What was your routine like, son?
My routine, after I got in there, man, I started doing my research and my homework.
There we go.
You know, I followed and checked out a lot of people that faced odds that was very insurmountable to the average eye. And I tried to study them and figure out, how did they overcome their situation? How did a young girl at the age of 14, whose mother passed away and left her with 4 other siblings that was younger than her, and fast forward today, that same young lady had a law firm. 2 of her younger siblings were lawyers in her firm, and the other 2 siblings were in law school. So I said, how can a 14-year-old girl do that in a situation that she didn't even ask for? So I used that to say, man, I got to study people like that, because I got 40 years in this place. How I'm going to overcome this? And not only that, I looked at the people around me, and they were so defeated. They were so not believing in themselves that I said, all right, not only do I have to do this thing for me, I got to do this thing for all the fellas that's in here, because they need to see it. They never seen nobody shake back. Oh, your PO ain't gonna let you do it, man. Your baby mama gonna be on you, man. Nobody ain't never did that. Right. So I took that challenge and said, you know what, man? This is my calling.
And it's a journey.
Yeah,
it's a real
a whole
journey.
one.
Hey, Tasha, come on with one of them slick questions.
Man, listen
you know
here.
What I mean?
So we got to shout out to our brother Darvin over there in South America.
Yeah, you know we watching.
But you know, Ed, this is a relationship podcast, right? So we focus on look at Troll in the back.
Go.
Where Brad at? Hey, Brad Fax just walked in, y'all. We're gonna get all these brothers' opinion up here. But I'm gonna skip right down to question 11.
Okay.
You know, real quick.
Skip on.
Listen, I'm gonna go on down. I'm a woman. Y'all ladies, we want to know.
Hopscotch.
Hey, let's tell them the truth too, man.
Man,
Okay.
right.
Let's give it to them in the raw. That's how they like it. Really.
Yeah, we
like
need it. That's how we
really
need
like
it.
it.
Right.
See, they be, hey y'all, they be trying to play with us and sugarcoat it.
Right.
Just keep it real with us. We probably gonna go anyway.
Come on.
So, how have your perspectives on relationships and personal connections changed from before your incarceration until now?
Mine really didn't change until recently. When before I went in and I was in the streets, I felt like if I met a nice young lady that was very much going to college, I went in at 24. So if I was 21, 22, and I met a young lady that was in college and doing well for herself, I didn't want to ruin her life. I'm in the streets. I might not make it through the night. So I don't want to put you through that. So the kind of woman that I'm going to deal with is a woman, she looking for a good time like me. She ain't looking to play for keeps because I'm in the streets.
One night only, you from out of town?
I done been to too many wakes, too many funerals, too many seeing guys get cuffed and put in the back of that police car that I knew where my life was. So coming home.
Go ahead.
So coming home, my intentions is always, to be respectful. But guess what? I just did 20 years in the penitentiary. I have to focus on coming home and building a life for myself. I can't get too involved in a relationship because I look at that as a distraction. Like, these fellas coming home, they distracted because they got things they need to be taken care of. But if you in a relationship, that's going to take away from your grind.
Yeah.
You got to give her some attention. You got to give her some time.
And unless she part of the grind.
Unless she's like, Michelle Obama, where she gonna understand President Obama out campaigning.
She gotta be Michelle.
Michelle, while he was campaigning, she held home down.
Oh, for sure.
And that was a sacrifice. But most women, they don't want to make that sacrifice. Like, we ain't going out. We ain't doing this. We ain't having the recreational part of life. I've been working my ass off. You've been locked up, not me. So I'm not finna subject you to my mission, to my journey, because I'm making hell of a sacrifices.
It's something like that though, too, Ed, with us as entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And business owners and out here trying to do things, man, right now. They still have to play a certain role.
Yeah.
In order for us to do our thing.
It takes a whole different mindset.
Know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So it's I think too, man. We wiser now too, though.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Once you do come around, son, and you know what you want. I think some of them women, man, we got those women, man. They see that, man. Cause I want a woman that thinks similar.
Right.
Come on, Tyler.
I don't comment.
Let me say this.
Go ahead, Miss Andy.
I don't even like having my children sacrifice, that ultimate sacrifice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you're going to be...
It's a real sacrifice.
If you taking that life to the next level, you making sacrifices that 1%? The 1% making sacrifices that 99% of the people not going to make. Yeah. So you taking your woman, you taking your kids, you taking your friends, you taking everybody through that ultimate sacrifice to be at the top of your game. And that's not for everybody.
No, it's not. It's not.
Well, let me ask you this. When we talk about that, so if you can share with us real quick, what are the most valuable lessons you learned about trust, loyalty, and companionship during your incarceration?
Oh, yeah, you tricked me. You can trick me on this show and then start asking the wrong shit. Oh, this is a setup. This has been a setup.
Hey, look, you ain't by yourself. Look, we got them brothers. Listen, y'all ready?
Hey,
y'all ready?
Let me say this. All the viewers, y'all take notes. We have been set up. This has been a setup.
We need to know.
Loyalty. Say the other two. Loyalty, companionship, and trust. This has been a setup.
And then we got a slew of ladies that came in.
Right.
I'm pretty sure they want to hear about it as well.
Okay, let me try to address this the best way I can. Loyalty, companionship, and trust.
Let's talk about it.
I think when a man says trust, it's different than a woman's trust.
Why is that, Mr. Henry?
A woman's trust is don't cheat, Don't make her look bad. All those type of things that a woman trusts. A man's trust, he talking about his peace of mind. A man want to trust you with his deepest, darkest feelings. So it's a different type of trust when you say the word trust.
Okay.
A man want to be able to say, damn, baby, I cried in front of you, but you didn't hold it against me. I trust you. Okay. But when a man don't trust you with his feelings, he ain't finna let you in on that. He gonna step outside. He can't show that part of him to this woman because he don't trust you with his peace. Like when a man come home and from been out grinding all day, he come home, he want to trust they finna come home, ain't finna have a big argument.
So when you talk about grinding all day, what kind of grinding? Because see that be that bull.
I'm talking about the work. I'm talking about the work. Putting in work.
You work all
trying
day.
to build something. Yeah,
you work all day.
Wait a minute, the man's an entrepreneur. He's
what?
he's a legitimate. He's the real deal.
This ain't directly. This is hypothetically. This is advice driven. This is not you in your life. Let's make that disclaimer, ladies. We ain't in his business. We just hypothetically speaking.
And let me say, what you say? Compassion? Did you say compassion?
Absolutely.
No, she said
companionship.
Companionship.
Yes.
Oh, he heard that. Listen,
look, Brad pulled up to the table. Look, he
got
heard
a take
that.
on it.
I'm telling you.
So companionship, this just my take on companionship. It's gonna look different for everybody. Everybody gonna have different rules for what they value, right? But from my perspective, walking out of the penitentiary and companionship, when a man has been gone for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, companionship ain't high on the priority list.
It really ain't.
He have adjusted.
I'll holler.
He has adjusted to not having any companionship. So your view, you've been out here in the free world living a certain way. He been in there living a certain way. So he's adjusted his life to being without.
So is it fair for a woman to be subjected to that? If you writing the letters, baby, I love you. When I get home, it's gonna be me and you.
Okay, but check this out.
Okay.
It's no different than a man that took you to a high class restaurant and then took you home and slapped you in the face.
Okay.
So you got to deal with something in the sense of, damn, I got to deal with an abusive man. He take me to the best places, but damn, I got to work with him on him putting his hands on me and being verbally abusive.
Just go ahead and say I got to get whooped.
Right. Or I'm going to deal with this man from prison. He cool, but he adjusting back into society, and that takes some patience. Just like he going to have to deal with something from you. You watch your sister get abused. So now every time a man raises his voice, you revert back to, I seen a man raise his voice and whoop my sister. And not knowing this man ain't finna put his hands on you at all, but you carry that baggage with you from your upbringing. And we all have it to some degree if we haven't dealt with it. If we haven't went into our lives and found out the promises that we made at 10. Because I made a promise after 4 people got murdered in my community that wasn't nobody ever gonna do nothing to me. And I carried that with me throughout life. And I know it's some fellas that said, man, I ain't with being broke. They said that on elementary school playground. And they became some cold hustlers out here on the street because that promise that they made that I ain't with being broke.
I ain't with it.
Yeah.
Come on.
Come on, chime in, Brad. Don't act like you don't want to talk about it.
No, I'm not. No.
You ready, Charlie?
No,
ready?
I was thinking about what you were saying though, because my experience is a little different because I went to prison so young. So I didn't really have any frame of reference in terms of companionship or trust or none of that. Because I went to prison when I was 15 and I did 17 years and 3 months. So when I came home.
They be serious about the months.
Yeah.
That's time. That's time.
Somebody broke it down to the second to earlier today.
We done that. Right. That was kicked in.
The matter and drop messages know that. But no, yeah. So I had all I wanted to do was come home and just live. And dealing with women was a part of that, but I had no idea the expectation that would be placed on me in relationships. It threw me for a loop, and it created a lot of issues that I never ever expected to have because I grew up and I was taught how to be a real good friend. I wasn't taught how to be a man to a woman. I wasn't taught how to be a boyfriend or a husband, none of that. I learned it, eventually, even though I come from a 2-parent household. But so I learned how to be a good friend. I was loyal to my guys, loyal to my homies. So that's the way I approach relationships. I was like, okay, I'm gonna treat you like one of them. I'm not gonna treat you rough. I'm not gonna do none of that. But then I realized, or I didn't realize, that it would be other women that would come into play too. I'd be attracted to, and then the cycle started over and over, all over again. And it was just like, okay, now what do I do? So now I got like 4 or 5 different pre-relationships.
Right.
We all just,
Right.
I'm
I respect all of them, but
yeah, I'm doing this with 4 or 5 different women, thinking that this is what they want, because a lot of the stuff I had was impractical knowledge. It wasn't applied. It was just the information. So I had a bunch of information I had to figure out what situation to learn to apply it to. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask y'all brothers this, both of y'all. So the women, we writing the letters.
What are you smirking at?
You see, leave it to Brad to always be on something.
Hey, listen, I see you picked your game up.
Yeah,
Though.
yeah.
But no, fellas.
Go ahead.
And this is what I need to know. Sean, don't act like you ain't coming to this table. But he back there lean back. But the women, we writing the letters, we sending the cards, we coming on the visits. So they in their brain, he coming home to me. Mm-hmm. Only a handful of women. I'm blessed because I have brothers that tell me the real, like, man, that man been caged up. Mm-hmm. You better let him run wild. Mm-hmm. Then figure out what you gonna do on the back end. Mm-hmm. But it's some women, I'm writing, I'm sending money, I'm doing this. You telling me you love me, you tell me. So the expectations of it's me and you, and then you get out here and you seeing Big Booty Brenda and you seeing, Judy with the booty. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So what about that?
What about it?
You know what? Why would y'all sit Brad next to me?
I'm asking.
I'm saying, so basically,
I want to chime in. I got one psychological perspective.
yo, Lord, okay. I'm gonna ask this question. I'm gonna get Charlie the microphone because I need to hear this, brother. So how do you approach that when she like, well, wait a minute, I thought it was me and you.
Oh, the lack of the expectation.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't try to make me sound like I'm slow.
No. I'm not. You do a good job at that. But no, I'm gonna tell you from my experience. So ideally, you want to come home and do everything that whatever promises you made, you want to fulfill those promises. But it's kind of like when you have a checklist. Things get added and some things get subtracted. So when you interrupt to fulfill those promises, you start to see other things, and you say those other things you see give you different ideas and different desires and different aspirations. And then you start to realize, well, I probably made some promises that I didn't realize I wasn't gonna be able to fulfill because I was smack dab in the middle of a 20-year sentence. And I genuinely meant that in 2008, around the time Obama got elected. But now that he out of office, it's something different. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's never really the intent to break hearts or to cause trauma or to cause pain. It just happens like that because I evolved from that specific time, and now I'm free and I can see things for what they really are as opposed to what I want them to be.
Right. I just got a little bit on this one here, man. Dealing with the relationship, talking about, you're going to be with me and this, that, and the other, and blase Skippy. My thing was, we just having a good time right now.
Yeah.
We just kicking it. You know what I mean? It ain't, I'm coming, wait a minute, because I don't know what you doing out there. And listen, I didn't have the privilege to deal with a few of them, and I never tripped on what you doing out there. And by me not tripping, they would let me know what they doing out there. I'm talking, and I could give you some real live stories on some different things what's going on. And I'm like, baby, just answer this phone. Answer this phone, let's kick it, dial this number. You know what I mean? But all that coming home, I'm the only one, and this, that, and the other. It's like if it was now it depends on how the books was looking. I'm keeping it real. It depends on how the books was looking, what kind of answer you was gonna get.
and you know what, Rob? I never made those promises because I never felt the need to. I never was just like, I was always okay with just getting the letter. I play a psychologist a lot of times too, and therapist a lot of times too, with relationships, and people like, women that write me and ask me why her man acting like this. I don't know. I'm gonna just entertain you and just tell you whatever.
That's what I'm saying, my brother.
So I never felt the need to make promises that, you know, we gonna be together. I wasn't coming home to a relationship. That was I had a forced relationship with the DOC that I didn't even want. So I wasn't gonna do that. You know, I wasn't gonna leave one institution and go into
And that's
the next
a real relationship.
Yeah, it is.
That's
So,
that's
I
a
think
relationship
we're
we need to be talking about too.
I think it's gonna, like, once again, if a person come in with a year, you know what I mean? You got 1 year. Yeah, you gonna try to hold on to some things.
Yeah.
But I had 40 years. What the I look like with 40 years talking about baby, come see me for 40 years, fool.
And you better not been on the top tier.
So for me,
Better not been on the top tier.
So for me, with the type of time I had, with the type of time I was sentenced to, that was off the table pretty much. Like, hey man, if somebody come through, they come through. If they don't, they don't. Do your time, man. Don't be running around this mug panty checking and stuff for 40 damn years. What's wrong with you? You're not human if you thinking, I got 40 years. I need you to write me. I need you to keep the phone on. I got 40 years. What is you?
Come back,
Baby, go on with your life.
I ain't gonna lie. I would have asked you, you need to keep the phone.
Go on with your life, and I hope you'll be happy.
All right, so mine to deal with a different perspective, and mine start off with I was coming from a place of just being thankful for the grace that I received. I did a homicide when I was 14, and that was in '93 when everybody was getting waived, and we was in DT and cats don't know how to keep their business to themselves. So we talked about our cases. My case was worse than all of theirs, and so I never got waived. And then got out, and I ended up catching a bit doing 17. And I still had an out date, and I was coming around so many cats who was never getting out again. And I still had an out date. So I approached it from the place of being grateful, and I allowed God to enter my situation. Now, with that, I began to try to channel my mentality to do what I believe my core values was, meaning monogamy, marriage. I began to pray for this stuff, this, that, and the other, and it's still pitted deep in the deeper confines of my heart. But I was also truthful, like, with whoever I was talking to, because a lot of times when women younger, they party, they do whatever they do, they get older, they phase out of that. And I would tell her that you stopped by choice. I was snatched out of it. And, men's, like, the cultures, the trauma, somebody go to war, we deal with his anger. We deal with he snap out, this, that, and the other. And so when you're in prison, you're violent. When you're in prison, all these this, that, and other things happen, but they don't really connect to the part where I've been deprived of female companionship.
Yeah.
Something that I saw in prison that you never really see, because like where God says it's not good for man to be alone. A lot of dudes that you would never see play on the streets play in the joint. They not gay. They got a guy, a homie, they might kick it, play a little bit, this, that, and the other. You know why that genuinely is? Because we were made for connection. That's why when people go to the hole, they go crazy. Solitude, no human being was made for solitude. So you will see things where in one way or another, we crave companionship. You see what I'm saying? And so like when I got out, I was like, damn, bro, I had every intention to do right. I wasn't, I had every intention to do right. And I was like, damn, because it hit from a place where, and I hit with the big booty revolution. With the big booty. I was waiting on that all my life. You know what I'm saying?
Then he called me and said, what you doing about it?
You know what I'm saying?
Now you talking.
And no, I was talking from the gate. It was just all sincere. And so it's just like, how do you cope with that? Because if you got molested all your life, basically what he was saying, if you got molested all your life and I love you and I want to be with you, I have to deal with those side effects. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of women they're not equipped because they only know their relationships out here. We together, you need to stop. You know what I'm saying? You need to be with me. You can't just tell somebody
it's one thing I can say, man. It's definitely a difference from a fella that done some time coming out, man, and dealing with a relationship. because like you said, I ain't got no problem with being alone. I like me. I'm talking. I'm gonna entertain me. We gonna meet me and me gonna find some different things to do. That's right. So that is, and don't get too close. That's another thing. I need that space. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that was something that I had to learn how to allow back into my life too, man. You know what I mean? The intimacy and the affection. Yeah. I think that's a big part of the game right there.
Let me give a perspective to the ladies on this one. I say this to a lot of the youngsters that I mentor because it just give a different perspective. And this is something that I learned while I was in there, is that when I walked through the door of the prison, it took me like 2 minutes. And I said, damn, man, I've been in prison. So when women say, I dealt with a man in prison and he got out and he didn't, I was in prison before I went there. My body went to prison in 96, June 11th. But my mind, I was already locked up years before that. So it took my body some years to catch up with my mind. So just like freedom, I was free years before I got free physically because I had freed my mind. So when women say I dealt with a man that was locked up, you've been dealing with locked up cats, not locked up physically.
She just locked up with him.
But he was locked up mentally. He didn't have no confidence in himself, very low self-esteem. He didn't have the character that he needed. It was a lot of things going on inside that man that had him incarcerated.
Some women though, man, some women drive off of that, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
A man with low self-esteem.
Get over here. And,
right.
You know what I mean? Be quiet.
I'm going to tell you this story.
Y'all mess us up and call us crazy.
You can't blame nobody else. You choose to go crazy.
So check this out. Everybody in my life, except for probably my mama or my daddy, if I got 40 years in prison and I'm telling them on a visit all these great things I'm going to do when I'm going to get out, that's penitentiary talk. Nobody finna buy that.
That's
everybody in the penitentiary.
But wait a minute, I'm so glad.
Everybody in the penitentiary say what they gonna do when they get out.
That's what the relationships be. Penitentiary talk, though, man.
Penitentiary talk.
What is penitentiary talk, though?
The promises of what you gonna do. I'm gonna change my life.
But what I really believe is in that moment they really mean that.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you.
I really believe in that moment because everything is taken away.
No, Trump.
You think he don't mean that he love that kid?
Trump. Not the man's perspective. I'm talking about the people on the outside that's receiving that conversation. Yeah, you genuine in what you saying.
But you telling them not to listen to that?
No.
What you saying?
I'm telling you that the women is not listening to you when you in prison with 10 years talking about what you gonna do. They walking away saying, everybody say that shit. Everybody in penitentiary.
Hey, you know what? Just put a twist to it then. Put a twist on it.
Ain't nobody taking you for your
twist on it.
Ain't nobody taking that.
Sprinkle something on it. Sprinkle something on it.
But you know where I think that come from?
You think they gonna take it? Oh, I told her that I was gonna change my life. She like, everybody in the penitentiary say that. 15 minutes, 1 minute.
And baby, I'm gonna do it with you. hey, listen, and baby, it's me and you, baby.
Nobody believe that.
That's the right now culture, though. Everything got to be immediate.
But it's been that way since the beginning. When a man go away, he got to come back. Until you do that, it's just penitentiary talk. It's promises.
I'll tell you what I'm gonna tell you what happened to me specifically was I prepared myself and I conditioned myself mentally to be able to recognize situations that would send me back. Whether it was the guys and who they was hanging with, the neighborhoods they was around, the actions and the conduct, all of that. But I wasn't able to prepare myself for the relationships with women that I would have because it was such a deep desire that I wanted because I had never really experienced, if you want to categorize as monogamy or anything else, I had never experienced it. It was always, okay, I'm just here for a good time, not a long time. So now so I grew to be able to recognize, he might break in a difficult situation. If I go hang with them, I might get jammed up and I might go back. Never did I even think about or consider to think or attempt to recognize this woman is a problem. Not just her, but me being here because I wasn't emotionally prepared to deal with the emotional expectations that she had. So now it's just infighting, and we don't agree on nothing. Really, I just don't belong in this situation because I haven't grown enough outside of prison and away from them. You know, to be completely honest with you, I've had situations where a woman told me, man, well, maybe I should do some time for you to pay me some attention. Because anytime we get together, it's such a celebration because what we going through, what we experiencing right now, they literally said that we couldn't have 25 and 30 years ago. So now when we do take a picture, whether we at a bar or at home or whatever, you know, just a social gathering, even this right here, it's something to marvel at because they said for a long time that we couldn't have this. So now, you know, my woman, she's like, oh yeah, you don't post me on social media. Well, I got 30 friends that I'm this close with. So of course the photographs are gonna outweigh the one or two that I take with you. So that became an issue I never ever anticipated. And I was like, I don't even know what to do. As many words as I know and as best as I can explain myself, it ain't working for you. I don't know what's going on. So I'm going to call such and such. I'm going to call them and talk because I know they understand me. So that kind of places a strain on relationships too. You know, when it comes to compassion, trust, and, you know, whatever else Tasha said.
Hey, my co-host Tasha over here, man, she done put it on me. We got to try to close this out, son, man, because we've been kicking it.
We need them back one by one.
Oh, Lord, have mercy.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, but
we need to schedule y'all one by one. The people need to hear this.
They on full.
Man, listen
They on
here.
full.
We could be here for another hour, but we need you, Mr. Hennings. We need you,
Yes.
Mr. Brad.
Yeah.
We need you, Mr. Patron. Yeah. We need y'all one to have that personal conversation.
Sure.
But I know we are in limited time today.
Yeah, no doubt.
So as we wrap up, my host here, who I love, allow me to be his gracious co-host.
Yes.
He gonna wrap it up with this last question for all three of y'all. Then we need to have intimate, personal conversations with all three of y'all. All three of y'all, like Birdman said.
and it's two questions. Okay. It's two questions. Okay, and they smooth though, man. Is advice to your younger self. If you could give one piece of advice to your younger self about relationships and life choices, what would it be? This to your younger self, you know what I mean? Because, you know, y'all old something like that now. Y'all got it now. I'm talking about, man. And then is, you know, the vision for the future. You know, now that you return to society, what are your hopes and plans for your personal and professional relationships moving forward?
Start down there.
Okay,
I start now. Wait a minute, y'all better not be scared of this, man. Y'all
No. I just, you know,
man, y'all
it's
supposed to jump
seniority,
in on
man.
this,
You know what I'm
man.
saying?
I'm talking about, I'm talking about, yeah,
He
come
got
on
the
with it,
motherfucking
man. 'Cause
serious right here.
Hey, I think he got it together, man.
Yeah.
Come on with it, baby.
Talking to my younger self about relationship. First of all, talking to the young Ed about relationship is it's also a life. Like you said, relationship and life, they kind of intertwine because my relationship was based upon my lifestyle. You know, I lived a lifestyle of, like I said, I didn't know if I was going to be around in the morning. So I didn't want to ruin nobody's life. So with that being said, I would definitely change up the perspective I had of myself and the perspective that I had of life. So with that, if I can change that part, if I can change Ed, then I'm going to be able to change my relationships. Because my relationship was based upon me, the person that I was. It wasn't nobody else. It was the choices I had in the opposite sex was based upon the person I was. And if I was in the hood, hanging out on the block all day, I wanted somebody that fit into that life. I don't want nobody that's trying to take me nowhere. Nah, I don't need that. I just need you to come through, pull up. You know, I stick my head in the car, you know, rap a taste, and you pull off. That was great for me. You know what I'm saying? I don't need nothing no more than that.
Boys in the hood, man.
You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, they want to go here and go there. In the 90s, just pull up on the block. You know, and kick it with the fellas for a minute. See you later. You know, that was good enough. That was a date.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? That was a hot date.
Yes, sir.
You know?
That was a flip.
I seen it today.
So now you come home, everybody going to these 4-class, five-star restaurants and all that. Like, man, shit, I had Mr. Perkins right across Atkinson. I'm going to Perkins
And
to
they
get the
was
soul
good
food.
though. A whole bunch of people had Mr. Perkins.
So those things had changed, but that advice, I got to work on me. I got to be a better me, and I was better than I seen myself. I had dumbed it down because of the people I was around. So although I can go to the moon, I'm going to hold myself back because that's going to make the people I've surrounded myself with feel like I left them behind. And we can't leave the homies behind. We can't leave the hood behind because I'm loyal. I'm loyal to this thing. Not knowing I'm not loyal to me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not being the best that I can be in this situation. And that will change my relationships. That will change my business. That will change everything the better I get. And that wasn't a focus of mine.
Well, that was a whole lot you told yourself.
I would probably, if I could talk to my younger self, I would probably just say, don't take things so literal. Because I was the dude that was, how they say, hey, man, if he told, then he's got to get out the way. I'm like, let's go get him then. You know what I'm saying? Let's go get him. I believe those morals and those principles, not just that, but even when it came to women, if it's like, man, if I believe rap music, if they ain't no fun if the homies can't have none. I'm like, okay, she like I was literal with everything, you know what I'm saying? And I paid for it because I wasn't playing games. And then I realized I was tripping. Like, what do you I grew up and I look back and I said, man, some things are just for shock value entertainment. It ain't always to be taken as literal as I was taking those things. So I would definitely tell myself not to take everything as literal as I once did. No snitching. I kept my mouth closed. I took my consequences. That's just how I believe things were supposed to be. It's not how I was raised. It's some of the things I was seeing. And I said, okay, those are the things I gravitated towards. So I would definitely not take everything so literal. Some things are just hyperbolic and other things are just, they can be taken literal, but not as extreme as I did.
Right on.
That younger self, for me, that's one of the hardest questions. I started having sex when I was 8 years old. So how young do we go? And so, no, but when people were playing high go get it, touching and fit, I was having sex. All my guys was busting the room like, look, Tron fucking. And so, like, what happens with that is, once again, it's a psychology that happens with that. You grow up praising it, it sounds slick, this, that, and that, but that's a battered soul, bro. You know what I mean? That's really some dysfunctional shit. So, like, I don't know how to catch that one still to this day, but going forward, being completely honest, because a lot of times, something that I notice is the temptation is always to say something slick. My every intention every time is to be so genuine because you never know who you touch. Going forward, for me, is to learn how to stop being so selfish. Because just like when a woman is young, she get this man the best part of herself. He shit on her dog, or now she grow up, that bitterness sit up in there. And when she get to having her way and do her thing, she's going to have her way. This is why we really see a lot of women nowadays talking the way they're talking, because now they want to have their way because they weren't nurtured right and taken care of right when they were younger. Prison made me selfish. Prison, because it was all about when I get out, what I'm going to do. And I've executed a lot of selfishness since I've been out. And so me, once again, I've been talking about marriage. If I'm going to have that and I'm going, at some point in time, we got to do something right with this black stuff, this, that, and the other. What happened with Remy Ma, that broke my motherfucking heart. It kind of destroyed my hope with some things, but that ain't me, so I moved forward. But it's to really do something right. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I haven't been locked up so many years of my life. It's a lot of stuff that I haven't done right. And you can't execute this stuff right. You know what I mean? So that's my thing for me.
Well, y'all, listen, that's another episode of 100 Gems. Now, I got to chime in. One of the things I probably would have told myself is slow down and listen more. And that would have helped me a whole lot more. today. But you just heard it from the big wigs, and they gave it to you in the raw. And I can't wait to have them back. So y'all, listen, until the next time, we love you, and peace out. Hey.
Broadcast Home of the Champs.